Okay, hello and welcome back, everybody. This is Grillenheimer. Now, I think I see a correlation here. After trying to think about this and going over it multiple times, that teaching our kids responsibility is the key to all this. And while in the 80s and 90s, some of our parents failed to try to teach us some responsibility until we started learning it when we got kicked out of the house. And that's the best way to show love for your kids. Here's the real world. Figure it out. And what we're missing today, and what I'm seeing where I work, the small businesses are dying unless they are run by minorities because of small chain supply businesses. So there's that. Now the thing is that small business is not only the backbone of our country. Small business, even with family, can help teach our kids responsibility from financial decisions, being able to learn how to save money, to be able to do something, to do other things, fun things. Maybe as parents, we even should have been learning how to do that, unlike myself, instead of playing and collecting toys and crap, saving our money for our kids' college, saving our money to get something nice like a boat or an RV or somewhere else that we can take our kids out of the city, out of the house, to enjoy ourselves as a family. You want to know the real mental health crisis? That's it right there. That is the cure. Getting your kids off the internet, getting your kids off the phone, turning off your router for a day or a weekend, getting out and going somewhere, doing something with your kids, disc golf, bowling, real golf, boating, fishing, sports, baseball, just throwing a football out in the yard, something, anything. Hello me, welcome me, anything, hello Ella, hello Earth, being a family. Sometimes I haven't been that great as a father, I'll admit, but I think a lot of us as parents who grew up in the 80s and 90s, our parents were so busy trying to make ends meet, also living even back then in better times from paycheck to paycheck to paycheck to paycheck, not able to take the time to teach even us responsibility, financial responsibility, disciplinary responsibility, chore responsibility, sexual responsibility. None of this seems to be really either being taught to the kids today or getting through their heads today, because they want to do any blankety blank thing they want. And just because they play pretend at 3 does not make them something when they're 30. That's the parents virtual signaling and pushing it on their kids, an ideology that will eventually destroy the family. Okay? And just as small businesses, like I said, I'm seeing small businesses disappear from where I work in closing. Maybe they could be moving to other places, but because I live in the area where I work services kind of, that I know a lot of these businesses have closed in 2008, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2012, even small churches, especially during that time during Obama, and then again in the past 2 to 3 years. Small businesses are drowning. Small businesses are closing. It's hard to start a small business, especially with a government who seems to want to punish those that make a profit. But how can you keep an overhead? How can you stay afloat if you're not making a profit with your business? That's the purpose of business. That is the beauty of capitalism. But they want to teach us how bad capitalism is, which it isn't, because that is the blood work of the country. It makes everything work. And these Democrats and the Uniparty are wanting to destroy everything from inside out. And what best way to do that is to take away farms, because let me tell you, farm work, family farm work, is akin to having a small business. Because through farm work, once your kids turn 8, 9, 10, you want them outside. You want them out in the fields. You want them to be doing their chores and waking up at the butt crack of dawn and feeding the hogs and feeding the chickens and grooming the horses, helping to corral the cows, get the cows outside to graze, etc., whatever. Mending fences, keeping, making sure they know how to work a gun safely. If coyotes show up, if foxes show up, if vultures show up, if a bear shows up, because what you have and what you're growing is key to your survival, key to your business, and selling whatever your extra stuff is to local businesses. Again, it comes down to business. What they want is they want you in a cubicle. They want you in a tiny little apartment with nothing to maintain, where anything that needs to happen, you just call and they do it for you. So you don't know how to do maintenance of your own car. You don't know how to change your own oil. You don't know how to put on the spare tire of your car. You don't know what is where. What's the difference between the transmission fluid check or the oil check? Someone gonna do it for you. Just make that call. We'll come do it for you. Just come over. We're open on Sundays. American exceptionalism was real, and we're seeing it die. And what American exceptionalism is, Rush Limbaugh used to teach us this, and that is being able to have your own property and your own self and being self-sufficient. And they're wanting to take that away from us. They're saying it's a myth and it isn't real, and that it's this and bigoted and whatever. No, anyone can do it. Because this is America. This should be the land of the free, not the land of the oppressed. And that's what we're turning into. And a result of that, instead of our kids learning responsibility through hard work, they're learning to go on TikTok for their 15 minutes of fame and makeup and an outfit and dressed in drag and whatever, and saying whatever their pronouns are for the day and whatever the new fake gender is of the day. That's not real. That's not reality. That's not going to get you anywhere, much less a job. That's what our kids are needing. They need people that are adults, to act like adults, to be mature in their financial decisions, mature in how they discipline their own kids, mature in how they get their kids involved. House repair, car repair, yard work, gardening, fixing this to see if you can fix something before you really have to replace it, fixing your dryer, fixing a belt on your washing machine, a belt on your lawnmower. And when all these businesses, especially small businesses that are able to, where you used to be able to buy things like boats and sailboats, are disappearing, and everything's online, and everything's on the big tech companies. You need anything, go to Amazon. Need anything, go to Sam's.com, Costco.com, whatever, Target.com, Walmart.com. No! I like being able to see the stuff in my hand and make sure it matches what I actually have in my hand as I'm bringing it in to get it changed out. There's something missing here. And it's, again, getting our kids involved in what we're doing. And I'll admit, I'm a witness. I'm a testimony to this too. And not been great at trying to get my son or my kids involved. Before I dropped my girl off to college, I had to show her how to check her oil because the car leaks oil. And a loose bulb on the back of her car as well. You know, our kids need to know, especially if they start driving, how to take care of their car. Responsibilities. And again, personal responsibility, financial responsibility, self-disciplinary responsibilities, sexual responsibilities. What does this other ideology wanting to teach the kids that are dressed in drag, reading books to them in libraries, anything goes. There are no responsibilities. Look at me. Right. I don't think so. It's not teaching your kids anything, much less a responsibility of anything. You can take, the biblical message out of it for a second. What good is a guy in drag reading to your kids in the library really accomplishing? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. It's not teaching the responsibility of anything except maybe one thing, and that's they're not even teaching them to read. They're reading to them and showing them a little toddler book. Think about that. Just think about that. Even if you're on the other side of the fence and you don't align with my personal beliefs here. If you're dealing with kids, even with special needs, they'll be living with you probably the rest of their life, the rest of your life. And what they can understand, they will need to at least understand some sort of responsibility of self. They're not going to learn that through someone dressed in drag. They're going to have to learn that from you as a mature adult. Someone who is in adulthood. And yeah, you've seen my junk, you've seen the cards and whatever, but once I spoke like a child, once I acted like a child, once I used to think like a child, but I've put those things away. I know that's not easy to do for many of us because we all still we feel like we're 13 or 18-year-olds. And it's 1983 all over again. Well, it's not. It is 2023. And it's time to think about things and where you're really going. And where's all this money that you're getting for all this plastic that you have built up in your home or apartment or whatever. And then what happens if you do happen to have a family and you have kids? They could care less about this crap. What are you going to do then? You can't take it to the grave. Your wife doesn't want to be that embarrassed, no matter what special requests you put in. Things to think about. It ain't important. On top of, responsibilities as far as, oh gosh, I gotta go. As far as, the other side and the drag queen crap. I'll tell you what's that teaching. What that teaches. It's not teaching responsibility for self or self-control or anything about money or anything about hard work or chores or anything like that. It's actually showing disrespect of self, because they don't respect their own bodies. They don't want to show their real face. They want to hide their real face. They want to hide what they really look like. So if they disrespect themselves, they probably disrespect authority. The direction that they're disrespected can create behavior in your kids that makes them disrespectful. And if they get hook, line, and sinker and groomed into that ideology, where does that take you? Demeaning sexual deviancy. Demeaning like porn. And at some point of our lives, we've all seen that crap. And what is it doing? It's nasty. They're trying to glorify something that should be private between two people. It's demeaning the women. You're only seeing a snippet. You don't know what's happening before or afterwards, how real it is. And in the end, it's an ideology that just disrespects all authority. It's the breaking down of the family and taking they're taking the kids away from you to have any love for you. Fortunately, that's all I have time for. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching. And as always, have a blessed day in peace.